Test 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, audio sounds good.
Sinners and saints, dust off those horns and halos. It's time for Alan After Dark.
Sinners, saints, bitches, whores, sluts, pole smokers, ass munchers, tonguers, fuckers, lickers, lockers, walkers, mockers. What the hell am I saying? I don't know. What the fuck? I don't know. Wow. This is how it rolls. Okay, bitches? Rock with me, Amadeus. Okay? Ride the wave. Let's see where this goes. Gray sweatpants. Light gray sweatpants, I guess, in particular. Boys, do you know what you're doing? Yes, I know this is gray sweatpants weather, and the idea is that those who are wearing them aren't really wearing anything underneath them, and you're showing off your schlong. But I gotta say, this morning when I was shopping for toys for Christmas, a guy come walking by wearing gray sweatpants. Light gray heather sweatpants. Let's just get really specific today, bitches, okay? And of course, I looked. Like all of you look. We always look, right? We're always looking for that imprint, that indention, or that long shaft sloshing back and forth like it's a straw in a glass or something like that. Jesus, I don't know. So I'm staring at this guy down there, and there's nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing. Now, I know that there are some men who don't have an ego and don't think of themselves as the hottest thing on this planet. And that's your right. And there is no rules that says you have to have a gigantic schlong to wear light gray heather sweatpants. But this guy, I could just tell, he had this arrogance about him, and he thought he was just the bee's knees. He thought he was the shit. And well, he wasn't. Not on that level. Yeah, there was nothing down there. Not even a little ding-a-ling impression. Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. And I have to say, I was a bit disappointed. Luckily, there was a guy wearing the right length of shorts. And what I mean by that is, I mean short, not hanging down to their knees. And he was shopping for groceries. Apparently, he was in that section of the store, whatever. And I found myself just following him because his legs were so fine. What was that movie, The Naked Gun, where he says she had the kind of legs you wanted to suck on for 2 or 3 days? Well, this guy, he had those kinds of legs for me. And he was worth following for at least 3 or 4 aisles until he got suspicious. Oh, the life of a stalker when you're not even a stalker. But honestly, I wish I had that kind of confidence, or just not giving a rat's ass about it, that I could wear shorts that short, that I would wear light gray sweatpants out in public. I don't have that motivation, but that's all about how we impress upon ourselves. Sometimes we might think we look good in certain things, and it might take a sledgehammer upside the head for us to understand that maybe we really don't look that good in whatever we're wearing. But it doesn't hurt to experiment. I'm talking about wearing clothes, not about sucking dick. But, straight guys that are listening, if you really want to experiment, you want to try it out, give me a holla. We'll talk about it. We'll work something out, Oh, I must be in heat. Or I have the mange. I'm not sure which. I had a big chuckle just a few minutes ago. Actually, quite the laugh and quite the head shake for somebody like me. I was getting my hair did by one of my favorite people. Where it's located is the area that I used to hang out a lot. There was a club. Well, the bar that I worked was right down the street from where I was. And there were a lot of great restaurants and a couple of other clubs. And there was an after hours club that was located just across the street from where my friend's salon is. I had not paid attention the last couple of times that I'd parked in that parking area, but the club there used to be an old movie theater and it became an after hours club, meaning that it opened at 3 a.m. and stayed open till like 5:45 or 6. And when we would get off work at the bar, sometimes we would head over there. And I knew one of the bartenders. I'd known him for a long time. Anyway, I'd gotten my hair did and I was going back to the parking lot. I just happened to look over at this old club, the old movie theater, and saw that it's now a church. Well, I almost wet myself from laughing so hard to think about the things that I've done within those walls, including blowing the bartender and being blown by the bartender. I just wonder how many demons they had to exorcise out of there before it could become a church. I really did just crack up. I mean, it just made my day thinking that, hey, I've had oral sex in the bathroom of a church. You know, because we were talking about that, 4 or 5 weeks ago. I asked any of you, had you had sex in a church before? And I wasn't sure if I did or not because I had a dream, but who knows. But now I can say for sure that I've had sex in a church. I know it's not the same thing. It wasn't a church when I did it, but you know, you get what I'm getting at there, right? Totally. I really do have a bad reputation, don't I? I think it really does help to be considered the bad boy. I like having that type of personality and reputation. I don't mind when people say, well, usually behind my back, that I'm not a nice person, even though people who really know me know that I am. If I'm a dick to you, you probably were a dick to me first at some point. Just remember that. When I was getting my hair did today, let's call him Steve. I always have a good time. We have a good laugh and great conversation. Anyway, he was rinsing out the color out of my beard and he was putting in the conditioner into my hair and he just had to chuckle about all the white stuff in my beard. And he smiled the prettiest smile I have seen in ages. And I think he would crack up at this too, me talking about it. But I don't think that's the personality he wants people to see. I think he likes being a bad boy too. One that has this look and demeanor that can kind of scare people away. I know he's a big old teddy bear. He just doesn't want to admit it. Well, I better not say that. I know that he's got an edge to him. I think in a lot of ways, he and I are a lot alike. Probably that's why we get along so well. We can handle each other's cutting remarks, the ones that bite. We know how to accept them. And there's so many guys, well, people in general, that cannot take a joke and will take anything you say as a personal insult. I think they have a COVID brain or something. There's got to be a reason why they behave that way, but I don't know what it is. But it all comes back to the male ego, doesn't it? It does for me. And I personally love to have male ego for dinner, hot or cold. But I did tell Steve that his smile and his giddiness and his laughter, laughing at my expense, which I accept because it was funny as hell. I'm sure it was. Seeing my face covered in white stuff. You know where we're going with that, right? I mean, his face lit up when he smiled. He was laughing and smiling, and he was just so cute. He's cute anyway, but seeing his face light up like that, it actually brought happiness to me. I really did feel happiness and joy seeing that smile and that giddiness on his face. I need to tell him he's cuter more, don't I? Even though that might get my eyes scratched out. He might claw me to death over that. Oh, it's so much fun being a bitch, isn't it?
Yes.
For some reason, I flash back to Joan Collins as Alexis Carrington Colby on the primetime soap opera Dynasty. she was talking to her son's Stephen, his boyfriend, Luke. She says, Mr. Fuller, I have a reputation that is unpredictable, devious, and manipulative. I cherish that reputation because it keeps my enemies off guard. I like that kind of reputation. I think it can both draw people to you and repel the right people. I think being the bad boy is almost like a moth to a flame to some guys. But apparently being aromantic is like a moth to a flame too. When you are not available, doesn't it seem like you have more guys coming after you at that point than any other time? It does seem like that for me. When I'm dating someone, I would see more guys try to hit on me. And I keep thinking, where were you guys when I was single? Where were you guys when I wasn't contemplating my sexuality as potentially aromantic? My God. But maybe that's the purpose. I think I've mentioned before, I know guys who would wear a wedding ring into the club because a lot of gay men are attracted to married men. Well, what they believe is married straight men, married to a woman, that can be a real aphrodisiac to a lot of guys. And I have to say, I would be one of those guys too. And yes, back in my younger years, I have had one night stands or 1 hour stands or 15-minute stands with a lot of guys who were married to women. I really do feel bad for their wives. Unless they have an agreement. You know, maybe she's eating puss on the side. You never know. And yes, remember that infamous encounter I had with the married couple and I almost got to the cooch and threw up off the side of the bed? Yeah, that was me. But I told you all, it wasn't her cooch. Well, it was, but it wasn't like the smell of it or anything. It was more the agua, the liquor I had in my system than it was her cooch. But yeah, I'm not meant to eat that stuff. I'm a vegetarian too, so the only meat I eat is pork sword. But what else would I eat? Is it time for happy hour yet? I do need to jump in the shower. Oh, by the way, the color of my hair is red. I'm going for the full-on ginger look these days. And I've gotten it done just in time for the holidays. And I'll have it done again and again and again. And in talking to Steve, in January, I may go to an even brighter color of red. But we'll see. This episode really does feel like it's in the moment, doesn't it? As I burp in your all's face. Maybe it is. All I know is I'm choking to death. I really do want this to be a party episode, that we're all having fun, and I hope that you're all drinking and carousing around and sucking dick or getting fucked or whatever you like to do in the bedroom or in the back seat or, you know, wherever. The men's room at JCPenney, wherever, you know, have at it. Whamma-lamma ding-dong, finger, binger, banger, binger. Whatever the fuck that means. Where is this episode going? I have no clue, bitches. I don't. Oh, yeah, that's right. Guys who wear light gray sweatpants, right? I'd always be afraid, too, especially if I didn't have underwear on, that if I had to go pee, I'd have one of those trickle stains on the outside. You guys know that pee-pee shows up really well on light gray sweatpants. I don't have to tell you that, but I should warn you, that's a reason maybe not to wear them unless you're ready to rock and roll and have some sex. I don't know. Maybe you should carry a pair of underwear with you in your pocket or something. That way, if you were to like accidentally have an orgasm or something, you know, it shoots everywhere. But even when you think you're done, a little more sometimes will ooze out. And it would be better to ooze out in your underwear than the sweatpants. Well, you know what? Having said all that gibberish there, maybe not. Maybe that would be an eye catcher. A little stain out on the outside of your sweatpants. Maybe it would draw the right guys to you. God, I'm sounding like a total slut, aren't I? Blanche Devereaux would be so jealous, wouldn't she? Ugh. But no fooling. Piss stains on your jeans or your pants can be quite an embarrassing thing. And it can be quite a turn on. I remember one time wearing khaki slacks and dropping barbecue sauce right on my camel toe. And that stain right there, you know, it's not easy to explain that away. Even when you say, I dropped barbecue sauce on me, people want to think that you're bleeding out your pee hole or something. There was one time, one of my bosses, we'll call him Kyle, he comes into the office after leaving the men's room and he said, "Look at what I did." He's pointing down to his crotch and I can see the big piss stain where his dick is. And I guess just because I had the hots for him, that turned me on too. What can I say? I need to put the description of pervert in my resume. I don't know that we've ever talked about golden showers, have we? Maybe we have, and I just can't really remember right now. Are you all into that? Are you all into being peed on? I mean, I have been several times. I know dating one of my boyfriends, every damn time we were in the shower together, he peed on me. There was an encounter with that certain bartender, we shall call him Mike, whose girlfriend would always be at the end of the bar on his shifts. And I had a bit of a pee encounter with him one night that was better than it should have been. And I have this thing, you all know this, it goes right along with the glory hole fetish, that there's something about a men's room, a public men's room, and hooking up, sucking dick. There's something about it that just gets my blood to just racing. Those kinds of mysterious, surprise, casual encounters where only you and the other person or persons know about it. Those are just fucking great. I miss those. Those were the best kind. And that's how I have so many secrets. Almost all of those sort of what I would call like high profile hookups with perhaps a television celebrity or people in city government or law enforcement. Sometimes it was just being in the right men's room at the right time and having an available stall. Go in, do your business, and leave, and never utter a word about it. Even though one time I was at the club, and it wasn't a very busy night, but I hooked up with someone in the men's room, and I come back out to get my drink and all that. And when my friends come up behind me and hug me, and he said, "Damn, you smell like a man." And I thought, damn, do I have that guy all over me? Well, physically I did, but I was thinking more like metaphysically, I suppose, there. Some men just smell better. They have that masculine, what is it? That scent that some men have that attracts you to them. I guess something like pheromones or something. Is that what that's called? I don't know. It's too close to happy hour to really worry about that. And I guess that's where I got the reputation of being a bad boy. When back in those days, if I really wanted someone and there was an opportunity in the men's room to get them and they were open to the idea, I usually got them. And some of them's husbands and boyfriends to this day don't know. But then again, there are certain boyfriends and husbands who actually watched or jumped in and participated. How many of those have you done? Have you hooked up with couples? What do you think about that? You know me, I think if everybody's on board with it, it's all good to go. I just know that in my experience being the third person in those adventures, that I usually have the hots more for one than the other, and that can cause some awkward situations. I guess if you're spit roasted, it don't matter though, right? Oh, Jesus. We've talked about that before. That's really difficult, especially since I'm not really into anal. I'm not into the butt sex. But then again, sometimes I am. Isn't that weird? I guess not, though. I mean, we all have a right to be in a mood for something one day and not in the mood for it the next. I mean, that's why we eat different foods on different days, right? You don't eat the same thing every day, and you may not want to participate in the same sexual activity every day. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But I guess in defining myself as a bad boy, my goal, if I was hooking up with someone who was married or in a relationship, it wasn't to destroy their relationship. It truly was about the attraction of the person I was hooking up with. I was very attracted to them, and I didn't really think about it any other way, like I might be damaging someone's relationship or hurting anybody, because every time that I did it, the person I was doing it with was a willing participant, Is that my fault? No. It's actually nobody's fault. As long as everybody understands that. I don't think you're hurting anybody if everybody understands the situation. Now, maybe they don't. But I know, especially with gay couples, plenty of times when I'm asleep and a boyfriend was in bed with me, and they wouldn't disturb me except for when they started groaning or panting a little more because they were whacking off. And sometimes I'd wake up with jizz on my back. But at least they didn't wake me up and bother me. Well, sometimes they did. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So should I get mad that my boyfriend took care of himself? Does it matter? Depends on the person, right? Absolutely does. Because I've heard gay porn stars talk about their relationships and how their partner understands, in their opinion, it's just a job. Hats off to a person who can put it in that kind of perspective. I guess especially if the money's good. But would you get tired of it? Does an orgasm become boring? I just don't think it does it? Feels too damn good, right? That's why I don't blame women who have trouble getting off using anything that they need to use to have an orgasm. If it means vibrators or a fence post or a doorknob or whatever, maybe the dryer, the rinse cycle on the washing machine, a horse, a motorcycle, whatever gets those loins to vibrating, have at it, honey. Everybody deserves an orgasm. Oh, and I had one boyfriend who literally you had to play with his nipples or he could not get off. You had nipple play going on at the same time you're trying to suck his dick. And, you know, sometimes you can lose your concentration. It can become a chore. It can become a burden sometimes to deal with those things. I need to pour me another drink. Hold on a minute. Okay, there we go. Yeah, all we need is some music playing, and we're at happy hour right here. I think we all should just do it. Hails, bells. I'll find some music, and we'll have it in the background, and we'll pretend like we're at happy hour. Of course, there will be a ball game on, and that'll distract us from having a conversation. But you can't go wrong with seeing hot college guys, or even hot pro guys, and tight white pants and a jockstrap impression showing through. Hell yeah. Did that even make sense what I just said? I don't think so. But I did say this was going to be a random crazy episode, didn't I? Well, if I haven't, I just did then. So there you go. Welcome to this crazy random episode of Alan After Dark. I have a feeling I'm not done yet. How weird is that? I got in trouble. I won't say trouble, but I got a little scolded. Well, I won't even say scolded. It was pointed out to me at happy hour, it was about a month ago, about my manspreading. Now, do y'all know what I mean when I say manspreading? Where you spread your legs wide? But I honestly do have big balls, and they do need some room down there. It's not intentional, it just happens that way. But I gotta say, certain men who manspread, I fucking love it. I love seeing a hot man spreading those legs wide, giving us a view of the promised land. Jesus Christ. And there are a couple I know that absolutely tear me up when they do it. Unfortunately, they're straight, but so be it. I mean, it's the same thing with watching baseball players adjust themselves when they're playing. I get turned on. I think I told you all, I have a cousin who could not keep his hands off his dick. His hands were adjusting through his jeans all the damn time. From the time we were 13 to the time we were 25, he has his hands on his dick. And I would imagine that he's never grown out of that. I mean, he did it in public, he did it in private, he did it everywhere. He would even be holding his dick in church. And nobody ever said anything. That's kind of being a bad boy, isn't it? Kind of showing off or pointing out your sexuality. Is that what they're doing? Pointing out their dick, I guess, which is sexuality in some ways. I swear to God, you all are going to think I'm totally fucked up drunk because it sounds like a bunch of incessant babbling. But I have noticed, not that I want to get political, J.D. Vance, the supposed vice president of the United States, if you can actually stomach an interview with him or when he's on TV and he's sitting down, notice how he over-exaggerates his manspread. Now remember, he's the guy who said he was gay, but then wasn't, and is married to a woman and has kids. It just seems like he's trying to overcompensate for who he probably really is. But don't blame the gay community for that mess, okay? We do not claim that motherfucker, but I just have noticed when I've seen him, I don't listen to the motherfucker, but when I've seen him, he does seem to be over exaggerating his man spread. And it's not hot. No, it's just not. I can remember, I know you're all going to say who, but Ryan Sandberg, the baseball player for the Chicago Cubs, he played with himself all the time, and he had a massive man spread, but he would be playing with himself in the dugout mostly. And you would only catch it sometimes in the background. They were filming the batter, and the Cubs were in the dugout behind that batter, and you would see him back there just adjusting and arranging himself left and right. I mean, it was unreal how much he had his hands on his dick, or his cup, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. What's going to be the shot tonight for happy hour? What's going to be our selected shot? I'll have to ask Alex. Oh, yeah. It'll be Vol bombs, of course, probably. Jesus. I think I want to do an agua bomb, though. Or 2 or 3. I'm feeling like shit today. Oh, I don't know if you all know this, but I've been sick for almost 2 weeks. I've been able to not show it on the podcast. You can't really tell. I don't think you can from my voice. Maybe you can. I don't know. Of course, I edit out all my hacking and coughing. Not that that matters. We're heading into the holiday season, and it's the least favorite time of year, except for Mama Jean's Christmas party, which is coming up. And after that party, it's all downhill. And I do get so depressed during the holidays. I just don't see them as a time of happiness. And with things as bad as they are now in this country, it just feels like it's going to be even worse. Prices are out of control. People are struggling. So many people are being laid off. It's really scary. And the media is helping to cover up all of this stuff, but the economy is really bad. I just see the darkest of times coming. I'm hoping that through Alan After Dark, I can keep you all company and we can get through this challenging time together. Wow, once again, time just flies when we're having so much fun, especially when it's a confusing, rambling old man like me just shooting off at the mouth. But I hope you've had fun. I've had fun. And as always, remember, take life by the balls and be real. We'll see you soon. Thank you.